and final. That's an irritation. That's not a problem. So many times we confuse a problem with an irritation with a problem. And we amplify these things out of all proportion, which means we can't let it go. So when we keep things in perspective, all the difficulties you've had this week, whatever they were, like being caught in a traffic jam. Like, we had a couple of weeks ago, because we've been, well, the monks haven't been doing much work, but I have been sort of teaching a lot. All the tools in our workshop were all locked up. And when one of the monks went to check on them, they were gone. Some thief had come into our workshop and stolen our chainsaws and generators and all sorts of other stuff. Is that a problem? Number one, there's no solution. No one will be able to find them wherever they're gone. So there's no solution. It's not really a problem. And anyway, come on, it's an irritation. It's not really a problem, is it? Is that going to kill you? In fact, many of the monks are probably very happy they don't have to work so hard. You always look on the bright side of things, and you always think, whoever got those chainsaws and other stuff, may they be happy and well. May they get as much fun out of them as we have. Because it reminds me of this guy who used to come here. He was actually one of our caretakers a long time ago. And a really long time ago, maybe 35 years ago. And he was one of these young men who never wanted to be tied down, an Australian. So, he had girlfriends but would never commit. And he'd have a job but then leave it after, 6 months or a year. And he liked Buddhism, Hinduism, so he'd go and stay in all the temples, help out for 6 months, and go somewhere else. And the only possession he had, which he was really attached to, was his Harley Davidson. He has an incredible, beautiful bike, really expensive, because some of these bikes cost way more than a car. And it was his Harley. That's what he was really attached to. I mean, Lynn, she will probably remember him. But, after a while he left, and he told me this story. He was actually in Melbourne or Sydney. And he was helping out in some temple over there. And he went to get some groceries from the supermarket. So he parked his Harley in one of these, multi-story car parks. He went to get his stuff. And when he came back, he found his Harley had been stolen. The bay was empty. And that was the only possession he had in his life. The only thing he loved and cared for, his Harley. He had no house, no much real money in the bank. It was his Harley. And his Harley Davidson gave him the freedom to travel wherever he wanted, whenever he wanted. He could just, if he felt like he could just leave Sydney and go up to Brisbane or go to Darwin, go bush. It was ticket to freedom, and some lowlife had stolen it. But he'd been coming here. So the shock gave way to anger, and then anger, he said, no, come on, that's not going to help. Let go. So he let go of the only thing he really loved and cared for. And he told me, he wrote this letter, he said, and then he thought of the person, probably some drug addict or something, who needed the bike to sell to get some money for more drugs. He said, may whoever took this bike have as much joy and fun as I've had, being with it. May he also have the opportunity maybe to go into the bush and travel around and enjoy this bike as much as I have. May he be happy and well. And he was so proud of his Buddhist response to be able to let go. It was not a problem, he couldn't do anything about it, you never find it again. And he actually let it go and wished the thief well with the bike. And he told me he felt so proud that he was a real Buddhist. He didn't really sort of feel angry at the thief, and he never sort of wanted to catch him and beat him up. He never felt sad, oh poor me, why does this happen to me? His response was beautiful. And as he was feeling so proud of himself, then he noticed he was in the wrong level of the car park. He went down to the correct level, and there was his Harley, untouched. He said it was